Welcome to Just the Two of Us Homestead. We are Colleen and Frank, and we live in the perfect size homestead just for us in southwestern Quebec. Gardening, growing food, and preserving is one of our passions. And our barn animals, we love them so much, they're just like pets. And we're so fortunate to be able to live our lives as we do. Each and every day is a blessing. Hi, everyone. This wasn't quite the video I had intended on showing you. I started off making a video, and I'll probably show you the clips in between because it was kind of a fun, uplifting video. I originally planned and I filmed. We had done a huge cleaning in the chicken coop every spring and even during the year, but particularly in the spring. We clean this coop like you wouldn't believe. Everything is taken out. We scraped down the roosting bars. We did everything. We gave them all brand new nesting boxes. I made little curtains for some of them because some of the chickens like their privacy. And the whole time we were working in here, especially once we put the boxes back up, the chickens were so animated. They were making funny sounds, they were jumping all around, and we were having such a good time. And then nighttime came, and things haven't been quite the same since. Frank always comes out to put all the birds to bed. The chickens always come in on their own long before it gets dark. They never wait till it's dark. They're in here long before. And he comes and he gets the ducks and the geese in here way before it's dark. So he came in that night after we cleaned the coop to bring them in. And sometimes they come through the people door, not through the trap door. And when he opened the door, he was greeted with a skunk. So the skunk got more scared of him than he was of the skunk, but it took off to the back part of the barn. Now, our barn at this time was still full of like our patio furniture, the ride on mower, a lot of the gardening stuff, the wheelbarrows, and different things that we hadn't taken out yet. So this skunk found every little nook and cranny he could to get into. And I don't even know how he got in here because the barn is closed up all day long, except I don't know if you can see it. I'll show it to you. The chickens have a little trap door to get in and out of. So I have no idea how he got in here. There's windows, but they're screened and we only keep them open this much. Anyway, so the animals were going bonkers because they knew there was like a predator in here. And it took us a good, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes. By this time, it did get dark, and we did everything to get this skunk out. Now, remember, that part of the barn, what's your problem, sweetheart? That part of the barn was like just full of stuff because we leave all this part open for the birds. Well, he, the blessing was, I guess if there was a blessing, he didn't spray until the very end. And we finally got him out. And believe it or not, Frank literally was holding him by his tail and a paw and finally got him out through our big doors that open for the tractor. And all that to say was by this time, the other part of the barn was a complete mess. By this time, the chickens and the ducks and the geese, everybody was in here. I didn't want anybody out there while the skunk was there, and they were scared. So they had turned this place upside down, and the smell of the skunk was unbelievable. But that issue was over. Fine, skunk gone. We can set a trap, no problem. Then the next day got a lot worse. I came outside where it's brighter, but don't let the sun fool you. It is cold out. Yesterday, we even had wet snow. I don't even know if I mentioned to you when this happened. I can't remember what I said in the barn. It was about 7 or 8 days ago, and quite honestly, since then, it's just been a blur. So the day after the skunk, so the skunk happened the night before, the next morning, Frank let everybody out. Everybody was fine. He topped up their feed, gave them all fresh water, and everything was good. And then around 10:30, I was in the kitchen and I had the window open a bit because it was a nice day. And generally, we can hear if the animals make a loud noise, even with the windows closed, but I had it open a bit and I could hear the roosters really making, like, we call it their danger call. And Crackers, our male goose, was even making a funny sound and that. So I called for Frank and he came outside and there was a fox. And in such a brief time, that fox killed one of our small call ducks, like our little ducks, and our little silky ginger. And that one's really hard. We have had her for 2.5 years. We had her since she was little. And I know I've mentioned to you guys many times that our birds are like pets to us. And most of them are. Some of them are pretend they just want to be chickens and we let them, but some of them are truly pets. And if she could be any closer to a human, she was. She let you pet her. She would sit on your lap. Frank always had her as a parrot on his arm. She was just the most special, precious little thing. Ginger. And of course, we love the duck too. We love our ducks. We even got 3 new ones, and I tried to include that in this so-called previous video. I'm going to try and get them for you. They were adopted. We kind of like a rescue thing, and they're hilarious. We love our ducks, but you don't get the same relationship with the ducks. They're very aloof. They really don't let you pick them up or anything like that. They're pure entertainment and they're giving us eggs, but it's not the same thing. Ginger was special, special like anything. So in that time, he got one of the small ducks and Ginger, and Frank scared him off. He ran that way. So we immediately got all the birds inside, not just in their corral there. They went into the barn. We kept them in there for 3 days and 3 nights. They didn't even come outside to their corral, which is attached through their trap door. And it was hard. They're so used to being outside, but obviously their security was the priority. So in that time, we had like the regular live traps, like for raccoons and skunks, but I'll show you in a minute. We went and got like a really big one for like fox size. The next day, with the chickens still all locked up, the ducks and the geese, at around 10:30, Frank kept making sure he was looking. The fox came around again, and he always comes from this direction. I'll get up and show you everything in a bit. He came from this direction, and he came right near the barn. So Frank came out and scared him away again. And we don't own guns. We don't have hunting guns or anything like that. And honestly, I don't have any intention of doing that. But he went away and he takes his time. He's not scared. He just kept going through the field, and I got a bit of a footage of him doing that. Then the next day, so 3 days in a row, we didn't see him here in the fields. He's trotting down the road in front of the house, literally on the middle of the road, just going for a nice little walk. So we still knew he was around. We had put the trap out every night, and even though he doesn't come at night, we had left it for him during the day for the next morning. But all we were doing was catching skunks and raccoons. So we were, and it wasn't the same, we caught a skunk, but it wasn't the same skunk that was in the barn. So now we have this trap outside, but all we're doing is catching other animals. And are we attracting these wild animals because we have the trap out, or would they have been here anyway? So even though we would leave the trap out in the morning hoping he would come, he never did. But we ended up just getting other animals. So that wasn't working. But then, probably the fourth or fifth day, I did hear gunshots in the middle of the day, and quite a few of them. And it's not hunting season around here for anything. And since I heard those gunshots, we have not seen or heard, well, we never heard the skunk, but we haven't seen of him. So I don't know if one of the farmers around here saw him and shot him, or he gave up because we kept all the chickens indoors for so long. I don't know, but he hasn't been around, but we're not letting our guard up. So here's the big trap we got. There's still actually some addition here, but we got a really big one. It can even catch an armadillo because we went to Tractor Supply in New York to get it. And I guess because it's sold all across the states, it can catch an armadillo. But we don't have armadillos. And like I said, it's caught everything but the fox. And we leave it here because this is the direction he'd always come. Plus, our compost pile is over here. So for any raccoon or skunk, I'm guessing that's what would attract them too. So it's paid for itself as far as getting other animals, but not the fox. So this is, we call it a corral, because it used to have, previous owners had like horses here. So we've always had the corral set up that the chickens couldn't get out. But I guess we never thought of it so much as nothing could get in. So we've spent literally 3 days doing everything we can to like proof it so nothing can get in. We still have a bit more work to do. There's still a few like little weak spots that I think if an animal was really determined, they still could get in. And their trap door to go into the barn is just down there. So tomorrow Frank is going to the store to get more supplies. He still wants to get some more wood and some cement things to make it even more secure. But as it stands now, it's secure for them not to come out, but I don't think it's 100% sure for something to get in. But at the end of last summer, we did start to build them an outside run because we did know at some point something probably would happen. I think we were very naive, thinking that nothing would ever happen, and we were pushing our luck with having them free range. We've always been aware of aerial predators, and I can see one over there right now. And that's why we got the geese, actually, was for aerial predators. But because they're supposed to be like guard geese, but they don't really guard them. The only thing they guard is Frank. Like, I don't know if you can hear crackers, but Frank just went into town to get a few things right now. And since Frank has left, he's done nothing but whine. He's the only thing he protects is Frank. So when there's aerial predators, the geese run under like the patio table or under a tree. So I'll show you what we started for the run last year. It's going to go like all this way parallel to the garden. And then when we open the gate, it can all be one thing right back into their pen inside. I don't know if you can see them. They're always in pairs. And all I do is walk around. and they eventually go away. So with those hawks that just flew by, look who went under the hangover. Crackers. Were you guys scared? Hey, don't worry, I was here. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. So these are our new ducks. I forget what kind they are. I'll have to ask Frank. We thought we were getting more call ducks. The person we went to buy them from, his English wasn't very good, and we did everything over messaging, and it was hard to understand. So when we went there and they weren't what we thought, they were living in horrible conditions, so we took them anyway. And they're all females. This one is Penny. She's got a white on her. Then there's another one with a bit of white, and that is Bubbles. And the one that's all gray is Noodles. And they're lots of fun. And they give eggs every single day. And they're so happy here. I can't tell you the conditions they were living in before. So behind you guys is the corral and the barn. And all along here, here's the garden. And all along here, we got tons of this fencing. All of this, we have tons of it that we're going to make them a run that comes right off their corral that goes all the way down to there where it's gone across. And that's as far as we got before the winter came. So we're going to double it up and we're going to make it higher on both sides. And we also, I don't even know how we accumulated all this. Crackers. We have packages and packages. I think I got them at an auction of deer netting. So this part here where Frank and I really don't need to be walking, we're going to cover it all with the deer netting. So when they're in this part of the run, they'll be perfectly safe from aerial predators as well. So we have scads of that type of fencing, and I'll probably still put chicken wire on that because now we're just totally paranoid. But this would give them lots of area. We won't mow it. They'll have access to eat as much grass and bugs as they want. So we have to get working on that soon too. Do you notice anything missing from the garden? In the midst of all this with the skunk, the fox fixing up the corral, we took down the fence that we had around the garden. It was not a good fence by any means. When we moved here, we moved in late November, and the next spring, when we made the garden, there was nothing here. It was just grass. Excuse me. We just put up a quick little fence just to get us through. And then last year we never got to it. So this year we're putting in a decent fence. So we had started taking this down, but all that other stuff took us away from it. So now, because of the chickens, I can't uncover my garlic because they can get to it. I want to put my celery and stuff in my grow tower and in grow bags, but I think I'm going to get hoops to cover that because then they'll get into it until we can get the fence up. And this past week, we were going to work on the kitchen with the painting and the beadboard, and that got pushed aside. So it's just been a week. And it's not a complaint because I do feel we were very, very cocky, ignorant, that we didn't think anything could happen to our chickens. When the chickens are out free ranging, we pretty much are as well. That thing with the fox, it really surprised me because we had been out days and days leading up to that. That's when we did the mini greenhouse. That's when Frank started tearing down this fence. We were outside. We were very present. For him to, if he was observing us or checking us out, we were outside an awful lot. So it's not like when we let them free range, we just go in the house and ignore them. We're very much aware and we're always listening for them, listening to their sounds and everything. We know their patterns very well, but we weren't good enough to stop that from happening. They have so many areas around the homestead that we purposely make them to dust bathe. And here they are in the middle of the yard, just making their own baths. Thanks, guys. So I'm talking really matter-of-factly and brave, but it's been a very emotional week. More, I think, the guilt that we feel that we didn't protect them, and it was our responsibility to look after them. I know you can't protect them from everything, but we should have known better. We should have done better. And to lose two birds like that, and there's no excuse. So we learned our lesson the hard way, and we're going to fix the problem. So we still have so much to do. There's still work to do on the corral, and the biggest thing that now we're way behind in is getting the fence around the garden, because I can't do anything, plant anything until the fence is up. So, and the weather has not been cooperating. I think I mentioned it earlier, it was wet snow yesterday, and despite how beautiful it is today, it's really cold. But I think temperatures are going to get warm, but lots of rain in the forecast. So anyway, so that's it. It was quite the week. So thanks so much for taking time to spend with me today. And until we're together again, take care.